we go. Here we go.
It's the Monday Movie Club. This week, Annie chose the original Toy Story from 1995, which is number 63 on the Franken list.
Wow.
So this is a Franken list top 100 movie. We haven't seen a lot of those. We will next year. I'm Frank Gaffney, and with us today is Mrs. Nesbitt. Joel refuses to explain that. Mark G, who has the picture up.
Yep.
Is that Toy Story 1 or just Toy? No, it's Toy Story in general because there's Mrs. Potato Head.
I looked for, that's why I was late getting on here. I was looking and everything was from like number 2, number 3. So I got what I got.
Cringer and Goldfoot.
Hello there.
And Annie King, who's in the Hamptons this week. I think we're going to rename this Where in the World is Annie King?
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, Annie, why Toy Story 1?
Well, it's the original, and my kids and I, we watched it over and over and over. We had all the toys, which I don't have in the background today. They're at home.
You're not home, yeah. We get that.
But
Joel, do you have anything in the background there?
I do not, because I couldn't get to.
We don't need excuses.
Okay.
Here's the plot. Woody, voiced by Tom Hanks, is a good-hearted cowboy doll, and he sees his position as Andy's favorite toy jeopardized when his parents buy him a Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Tim Allen. And the first twist is the fun one, is that Buzz Lightyear, the action figure, he's not aware that he's a toy. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. It's genius, actually. Okay. And this is the first movie that really Pixar bursts into the feature animation field. And I remember seeing it the first time we went to the movie theater to see it, and it was jarring. The computer animation just looked weird. It was like, what? People don't look like that. It was they just looked weird. And there was an odd smoothness to the whole thing that you don't get with traditional animation. But I also remember being completely entertained by the movie. Do we want to hear the Pixar backstory? Do we care?
Go watch the special on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right, then I'm going to skip that whole part. Mark has a place to be. Gotta go.
Okay.
All right, so I'm turning pages that I was going to read.
No, Mark. When Mark's done, he could leave, and then you could just pontificate at that.
Okay, the original treatment of Toy Story, though, has little in common with the movie that it ended up being, because it was based on this Oscar-winning short that Pixar had done called Tin Toy, with a ventriloquist dummy that was sent on a sprawling odyssey. But Jeffrey Katzenberg, who is head of the film animation, right, at Disney, was he in charge of the whole movie unit? Anybody?
Yes, I believe he was.
I thought he was always in charge of the whole thing.
And so he envisioned Woody as a villain, abusing the other toys until they rallied against him. But then Pixar came up with the storyboards, and Jeffrey Katzenberg was like, oh, okay, I think you guys know what you're doing. It's okay. And so the core idea, obviously, that the toys deeply want children to play with them, and then that desire drives the hopes, fears, and actions of these toys. And the funny thing is, I mean, I think it's a little bit, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not.
Look out, kids. It's going to be a big one.
That the whole sense of, cowboys and Indians giving way to more modern toys, I mean, that was something that was going on, probably not in 1994, but probably more when, what's his name? John Lasseter was a kid, because then you gave up your cowboys and Indians for your G.I. Joes kind of thing. But, and, for us baby boomers, seeing all those toys from our childhood, that was a lot of fun too. So, but Jeffrey Katzenberg did make the suggestion that maybe it should be more like an Odd Couple buddy picture, like the Defiant Ones or 48 Hours, which two characters with two different attitudes are thrown together and have to work together, and they end up bonding. And so watching it again this week, which I did.
Yet you don't know who Mrs. Nesbit is.
No idea.
I do.
Yeah.
I figured you would, Mark.
It was Buzz Lightyear when it was having the tea party.
Oh, he was Mrs.
Oh,
Nesbit.
Right.
Sorry, sneezing. Okay.
Tigers
And
on.
tissue.
Quickly, Ant. It's gross. It's all over the screen.
I see it right there. All right. The film. What is that?
Those napkins that you bought that we never used.
All right. Well, and the animation seemed more normal this time. I guess we're used to it. And but the film is still a triumph. It's an hilarious and original movie, refreshingly light on sentiment. It's just perfect. The script, character, animation. This manages actually to break free of the children's movie stigma, which Keith seems to still hang on to.
I was just thinking of that.
And I would say, I'm going to.
Oh, good Lord. You just scared Cringer. Frank has COVID.
For an explosion of that magnitude. I do live in Florida. I would say
Next.
Yeah,
What time do
Mark,
you have
what
to
did you
leave?
think of it?
What time do you have to leave, Mark?
Yeah.
that it's not just a great animated movie. It's one of the best movies of the 1990s, full stop. And how fun to be in the writer's room.
How fun to be on this video.
You know, in the writer's room, you're throwing out 80 jokes about Mr. Potato Head, and then, you know, maybe 10 of them get into the movie. And right at the beginning, I'm cracking up because the Slinky dog, sorry, is a bit of a sycophant to Woody, agreeing with everything he says. And Mr. Potato Head takes his lips off and puts them on his.
Yes.
That was one of my notes. That was
Me too.
adorable. And I thought, how many people
Yes.
probably missed that joke?
And how brilliant that they came up with that.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
had the best lines, Mr. Potato Head.
Don Rickles is
Yeah.
I'm sure he improvised some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. Oh, funny. Mrs. Potato Head? Okay. Of course, there are now 4 Toy Story movies, and all of them are terrific. And there's a 5th one coming in 2025. It has a lot to live up to. In 2018, I gave this one 3.5 stars out of a possible 4. But since this group started doing fractions,
3.5
I will go-
is a fraction.
I will go to 3.75. It really loses that half a star for me because of Randy Newman's totally unnecessary songs.
Yes. Agreed.
I'm like, meh. Okay, Aim, you watched all 4.
Well, no, you got to go to Mark so he can leave.
He's not going to leave.
You're not going to leave?
I could just kick Mark out at any
I was
time.
gonna say, don't kick me out yet. I got a few minutes.
That's true. Okay, Frank, go ahead. What? Yeah, I watched all 4 this week. But I took a few notes and then I'll go back to the 4. I loved when Woody said, pull my string and play some fuck my, oh. I love when Woody said, well, pull my string. And to me, that was totally in place of, well, fuck my life. You know what I mean? So many overly clever things, like when Mr. Potato Head was making fun of and the lips and making fun of him by tapping his own ass with, oh yeah, I said that. You said that. When Woody called Buzz Lightyear and called him something else later on, light something. It was
Yes.
adorable. Continued from above in Pizza Planet, whack an alien with the alien coming
Yes.
out of the guy's chest. Another thing, I thought so many people won't even get that. The toys coming to life and freaking out was fabulously done and cute and clever. I have no idea what that means. And also I recognized the background. Oh, and that was when we talked about that. It was from Cool Hand Luke. They did such a great job in the last 20 minutes putting Woody and Buzz in such horrible situations, and you're constantly thinking, oh my God, they're never going to get out of this. How are they going to do this? And then they're in another shitty situation. It went on a bit long, and I thought that was a bit of a problem, I think, with 2 as well, but I still loved it. But I just remember seeing Soul, Coco, Up, and Inside Out and thinking, oh my God, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. And I didn't feel like that this time when watching Toy Story, which I might have the first time because like you said, it was their first big movie and it was just amazing to see. And I thought the animation, I remember us all thinking, this is the most incredible animation in the world. They look like real characters. It was just incredible. But I'm also going to give it 3.75 stars, having now watched 2, 3, and 4 all back to back and loving 2 and 3 even more. So maybe next year we'll do 2 and 3. That's all. I'm sorry. My notes were a mess. I suck today.
I meant, just it looks weird because based on the animation we had seen previous to that wasn't as, I guess, realistic.
Oh, the teapot, right?
So, right. So you say weird, but to me it was incredible. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but I'm saying weird because to me it was a little off-putting because it was
The year
Oh,
before, 1994, was The Lion King, and that was the best animation at the time. So this was so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the level of it was almost like watching a film as opposed to watching a video. The crispness, it wasn't as sumptuous as Lion King. It was more, so it was a little jarring for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mark, you got the picture up.
Yeah. Before I get to my notes, just 2 things that popped in my head. One is that we did watch the whole backstory, the biography on Pixar. And from there, they showed a lot of clips of all the things that they dropped into Toy Story. So this time I noticed it right away. Like on the bookshelf, there was Tin Toy by John Lasseter as a book, just random things like that were throughout it, which was very cute. And number 2, the soldier guys with the plastic on foot strip and the fact that they moved like that. And Danielle said that in all the cast members in Disney, they have to learn to walk like that because they have to walk just like it is in the movie for the kids. So I just thought very clever and amazing that they did that.
I remember in the movie how incredibly clever we all thought that was, that they had to walk like that.
And talk about perfect voicing, right? With Arlie.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have that on here too. The cast in general was perfect. I don't know if you could make it any better. I love this movie, seen it several times. My only nit, along with Frank, is I just don't like Randy Newman. I just don't like his voice, and it's everything kind of sounds the same. So that's where it loses some of the points from me. The opening passage of time was cute. And the squeaking of Buzz's head when he finally has his helmet off, when it goes down to see that it really is a toy, it's just super cute. And I thought it was brilliant and hilarious. To me, this is on par. I don't have many notes. This is on par with Finding Nemo and Mulan for me, which makes it 3.75 as well. Good choice, Annie.
Yeah, that didn't really feel like it had a period at the end of that. You said 3.75 as well.
No, he said as well.
As well.
Right in here as well.
Yeah.
It's a hard stop.
Mrs. Nesbitt, where's your tea?
I drank it this morning. So, all right, just to quickly touch on the whole Randy Newman thing, because I could take him or leave him personally. His songs don't bother me, but when I do hear Randy Newman singing, my brain immediately goes to a very early episode of Family Guy, where I mean, we're talking like first season episode, where the Randy Newman, the apocalypse happened, but Randy Newman is still there, sitting under a tree, singing everything that the Griffins are doing, to the next. It's like, and now they're walking over here, left foot, right foot. That's all I ever think about in my head when I hear a Randy Newman song at this point. So thank you, Seth MacFarlane, for that.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know.
25th anniversary of Family Guy.
Um, that being said, there's nothing else I really feel needs to add. I, like Amy, I took the opportunity to plow through all 4 films, partially because for the last couple of weeks, my friend Dave has been saying, I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. When are we going to get to that? So I used this as an excuse to jump into that and figured, I'll watch the other 2 in the middle.
And you hadn't seen 4 either, right?
Correct.
So originally I would have said, without having seen, and I actually took it one step further, Amy. I watched all the shorts that go along with the film, Toy Story labeled shorts, not the Forky Asks a Question or the Buzz Lightyear cartoon or even Lightyear the movie. I left all that aside. So I just watched all the shorts and the 2 TV specials.
I watched Partysaurus Rex based on Mark's.
Yeah, the other 2, Small
And the
Fry
Bao
and
one.
well, Bao's not
That was
related,
not Toy
but,
Story yet.
Pixar shorts in general are good, but Small Fry is pretty funny, and so is Hawaiian Vacation. And
Okay.
the 2 TV specials, Toy Story of Terror and the Toy Story that Time Forgot, I think is the other one, are also for holiday specials pretty well up to par with the rest of the series. They don't lack in that quality. Having said all that and having seen all of that, initially, I was joking around somewhat that, this would just be a 4-star movie and we'd move on with it. But having gone through the whole series, I think to me 3 is a 4-star movie at this point, just from the emotional standpoint. And this being the first one has to, by nature, kind of come down a little bit. I don't remember what I said in our text chain. I can't find it.
You and I agreed that 1 and 4 were tied for the
Right,
worst.
but I gave each one a number, and I can't remember what those
Oh,
numbers.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it was like
3.7, 3.8.
no, I think it was like
3.9, 3.8, 3.7.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think it was I think the first one I gave a 3.8, and then the second one was a 3.9.
Well, I'm looking it up.
Okay, thank you. Amy will tell you what I thought of the number in number form.
I have it right here. You ready? In order of 1 to 4, 3.8.
Yep.
3.9.
Yep. Okay.
4.
Right.
3.8.
Okay.
And
So
I totally agree, except I might flip the 2 and 3. I might have liked 2 better.
okay, and that's understandable. There are definitely things to like, but we're not here to review those. So.
And yet we are. Well, are those 2 specials also on Disney Plus?
Yes, everything is on Disney Plus. I think if you wanted to go so crazy and as far as to watch the Buzz Lightyear stuff, Starfleet Academy or whatever the hell it's called, and
that would be crazy.
Yeah, all that stuff's there too. Oh, there's another short called Lamp Life that explains what Bo Peep was doing between 3 and 4. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Is that one X-rated?
No,
it sounds like
it sounds it. I agree with Mark with the voice cast that you could not have gotten a better voice cast with this film, and I think that does kind of play out a little bit with the unfortunate death of Jim Varney after the second film. Blake Clark does a good job as a replacement, but there's just something missing in Slinky Dog at that point. But yeah, it's a great movie. I've seen it too many times to count. I'm sure I'll watch it again in 2 weeks when we get to it with the National Film Registry.
Annie, this is definitely a remote dropper, right?
Yeah, we loved it. Haven't seen it in a while because my kids have moved beyond that, but watching it again this week, it was just as entertaining, just as fun. And there's so many jokes that I'm sure were not for kids, just like you have to be an adult to,
Sure.
So it was really enjoyable taking my kids to it and having a great time watching it. So I love when he does I'm Picasso, Mr. Potato
Oh
Head.
my God, yes. Oh,
Right?
that was so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got too excited.
And one of my favorites is when they go into the machine and they all say the claw, and it's just so great, that part.
I thought I
Um,
made a note of that too, that the aliens thought the claw was God
Yes.
and it was a good thing, not realizing it was the bad thing. And that was adorable. I love the aliens in every movie.
Yes, they're great. Pizza Planet is fabulous. I also like how all the damaged toys in Sid's room come together to help them and everything.
Yes.
And my only thing was, how come they don't talk? You know, all the other
Yeah.
toys
They've been
talk and-
traumatized too much.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you lived with Sid, you wouldn't want to talk either.
Right, right. He took out all the
Voice
talking
Yeah.
boxes. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. One little side note, when we were in Disney World, they had recently opened a Toy Story restaurant. And they tell you when you go in and you sit down that when they say Andy's coming, everyone needs to freeze. And the entire restaurant,
Yeah.
That's great.
down to the last person, when they say that over the loudspeaker, freezes in mid eating or whatever.
Yeah.
It is so adorable.
That is
It
adorable.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
Where,
So-
where is that restaurant? I know in Disney World. Where?
In Toy Story Land. It's
Yeah.
like a barbecue
we-
place.
Yeah, we ate
Which-
there last time we
Which
went.
park
yeah.
is that? Is that at Hollywood Studios?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Right? Isn't that the cutest thing though?
It
The
was,
entire
yeah.
restaurant just does it.
And
It's
I
so-
didn't know the first time it happened that it was happening. I had no idea. The second time, I actually did an active pose. I was like, oh, now I'm gonna be like, "Wah!"
But yeah, no, I mean, when we first saw it, and there's that nostalgia factor, like you said, with all the toys that you grew up with, the little telephone one, you know, the spelling one. I mean, it was just fabulous to
The
see.
telephone was so cute that it was talking through the receiver, but his face was making oh my God, it was adorable.
It's just
I mean,
fantastic.
again, I doubt that he would have those toys in 1994, but it was very cute. The other thing that I was a little like, really, was that sometimes they could actually speak and sometimes they could actually move when people are around. I'm like, what's that about? So they just choose not to move when
Yeah.
people are
I
around?
think so. Yeah.
Man.
More so for Andy. But I mean, I think it's just a great concept of like, what do you think the toys do when you're not there? You know, that they
Yeah.
have a whole life, that they have meetings and that they,
Yeah.
you know, the
Brilliant.
walkie-talkie, you know, to find out what's happening at the birthday party.
Yeah.
It's just all so creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And like, you know, you guys had it all in your notes, but 3.75 definitely.
Well, there, Joel, you were kind of right.
We did all
agree.
agree.
2.75.
Close enough. Just a couple of quick things that came to mind while we were talking. If anybody's interested, there is a really interesting take on this type of film that Joe Dante made a few years later called Small Soldiers. That's live action, and it's a lot of fun. It's not quite Toy Story in the sense that it's not wholesome, and I'm using that term wrong because not that Toy Story is wholesome. Sid and his actions are kind of over the top, but Small Soldiers is a lot of fun as well. And you know, can we still be using the word remote dropper for something that's on a streaming service? Because you're not coming across it and dropping the remote and
can't.
stopping it. You know,
Well, I think that's why, you know, I haven't seen it in a while is because
Yeah.
you have to actually go searching
Not on
for
TV.
it. Oh, and I forgot the Barrel of Monkeys when they were trying to, so
Oh
good.
my God.
That's it. It's
So
empty.
good.
Yeah.
And while I was watching the movies the other day, I didn't watch them all in one day. Surprisingly, I had nothing to do and didn't care about anything else. So, but the kids kept coming in and out as they were doing their various things, and they're like, "Why are you doing this? You've seen these before. Why are?" But they literally would stop for 5 or 6 minutes and watch with me and remember when they had first seen it, and so that was kind of fun as well.
Sure.
We had all the toys, all the toys.
Wow.
It's- Oh, but because McDonald's had them and
Right.
little Lenny, the binoculars, you would wind it up and it would walk.
That's what
Wait.
Small Fry is about.
Okay.
Okay.
The short small fry is about McDonald's type toys, but
Oh, cute.
it still features the regular cast. It just
Yeah.
focuses in on that concept. So anyway,
But
Okay.
and I feel like the story is kind of set earlier than 1994.
I just assumed it was as well, but
Yeah.
whether it takes place earlier or in 1994, I could see places or homes still having toys like that. When we would go to my in-laws' place out in Napa, my father-in-law had toys lying around for the kids to play with, and they were of that type. They were older things that you wouldn't expect kids to.
Yeah, but he's a grandfather,
I
not a
understand that, but if he,
case.
it's
If
also
she,
well, she may not have bought them. The grandpa may have brought them to the house and just left them there. I have all these toys. You take them, because
But
it's happened to
No.
us.
okay, we can't start to justify, please.
Sure we can.
It's
I-
animated movie. Come on.
No,
All
I
right.
would say I bought a lot of these toys for my kids, like the Fisher Price. I still have the record player, the Fisher Price record
Yeah.
player with the 4 record discs. That
Does the record player make an appearance in Toy Story?
I don't think, not in this one, but I don't know if it does.
Well, then we don't care.
But Fisher Price made the best toys.
I certainly had the Mr. Potato Head, and then he would store all the pieces in his butt.
Yeah.
and it was also a different world in 1995. There were no cell phones for the kids to play with, so they could have been playing with some old school toys. I agree. They probably no kid would probably have most of those things, but
Yeah, Squeaky
see some of
Dog.
them.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I could see some of them, especially if a parent saved them or
My
had
kids
nostalgia
saved
for
them.
them when they were still for sale. Like Annie said, you had the Fisher Price.
okay, moving on. Toy Story is available on Disney Plus, a subscription-based streaming service if you haven't heard of it. Or you could rent it from Prime for $3.79 or
Library.
Library. Next week, so exciting, we begin our preparation for Deadpool and Wolverine by watching the other 2 Deadpool movies. First up, Deadpool from 2016, which is also on Disney Plus or Max for some reason. I don't know why. Or you could rent it from Prime. And one is better than 2. That's it. That's all we need to know. All right, moving on. That's it. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie. Any of the Toy Stories.